Hello, I'm Johnny. I've been living in Bilbao for 16 years now, but I'm originally from Durham City. I've been supporting Sunderland for over 40 years. I'm proud to be a member of the Bilbao Black Cats. Away, lads!
Hello and welcome to Black Cats Chat, the Sunderland AFC International Fans Podcast. My name is Thirkell. I'm from the Bilbao Black Cats, and joining me today we've got an all-German Black Cats affair. Guten Morgen to Martin Steffner. Hello, Martin.
Guten Morgen, Lee. How are you?
Good, I'm all fine, mate. And we've also got Ian Mcnee. He's an adopted German. Guten Morgen, good morning to you, mate. How are you doing, Ian?
Morgan Lee, I can still speak German. I haven't lived here for 36 years. I've learned a little bit of the language. Doing well, Mara, doing well.
Yeah, well, anyway, so on Friday night we fell to a late defeat to Sheffield United. We thought we might be able to sneak a draw, which would have been another draw, but in the end we fell to a defeat. It's no wins in 6, 5 points out of 18. Martin, it's not the run that we expected, no, for the last 6 games.
Unfortunately not, no. We're definitely looking good against a really strong side Sheffield United is. But of course, points is what we needed, and in the last 3 matches we haven't that run we all expected or hoped. They've been 3 great teams, definitely, but we have the chance to go with more out of these 3 games than 2 points.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, before the start of the 6 matches, we were 5 points clear at the top, and now we're 5 points behind and we're in 4th. Ian, you have to take your chances, don't you, in this league? Because if not, you get punished.
Yeah, it's not good. The situation. The situation that we find ourselves in now is okay, but it could have been a hell of a lot better. Especially when you consider some of the games, Millwall and Coventry, we were leading. The kids, Coventry, the first half, we were brilliant. It's completely different team to turn out the second half. Against Millwall, we were done in the last minute. Even on Friday, missed a penalty. We were the better team for the majority of the game. They obviously had their crowd behind them, although I thought their crowd was poor. There was only about 22,000 of their fans and 6,000 of ours there. You've got to take your chances. And at the moment, Wilson either isn't getting the service or he's misfiring. I don't know whether it'd be worth putting my ender in up top to see what happens. I couldn't understand bringing Connolly on at the end of the game because Connolly was never going to do anything. But we were under pressure. We needed to park the bus in front of the goal like West Brom did against us. No, it's. I mean, I've written to a couple of my mates, and I said, it's great saying if you'd have said at the beginning of the season, at the start of December, you're going to be in the top 6, we were taking your hand off. But my God, we were 5 points clear at the top. When we were there, we've got to do something to hold on to that. It's looking terribly like it could be a repeat of last season. Do great until the turn of the year and then just fall off.
Yeah, I mean, my fear was when I saw the run of games, I thought, right, we've got QPR, we've got Preston, and we've got Coventry. And all those 3 games, I thought we could get a decent points return because they were all struggling at the time. And
They were winnable.
They were winnable, yeah. And when you get like 3 points from them, and one of them you give away 2 goals to get a draw, and then you think the next 3 games in the space of 6 days, you've got Millwall, you've got West Brom, and you've got Sheffield United. You're thinking like, I wish we'd have taken a couple more points in those other 3 games because you'd rather draw those 3 games than the first 3 games, wouldn't you?
It would have given us a cushion. But that cushion just didn't exist because we dropped points against the 3 lesser teams, the 3 supposedly poorer teams.
Yeah. Right then, Martin. So the stats then for the game were Sheffield United had 4 shots on target. We only had 2. Though apparently we had 17 shots in total, but only 2 were on target. So
Or
50% possession each. So a lot of people are saying like, "Oh, we battered them." I was thinking, but did we actually batter them? I thought it was like pretty much end to
no.
end. I think like
Uh,
we had the ball, we controlled the ball better, but I don't think we really did anything with it apart from like the odd time that Watson had a run at their defense. But I mean, 50-50 says that it wasn't a battering from us against them. I think it was like end to end. It was a good championship match, and they took their chance and we didn't. 8 corners each. Patterson had 3 saves to make. Their keeper had 2 saves to make. 4 yellow cards for them, 2 yellow cards for us. Ballard no 9, and 1 red card each. Right, Martin, for you, corners. 8 corners. We've got Ballard, we've got Mepham, we've got Isidore, we've got Job, and we're not doing anything from corners, are we not? Or free kicks. We're not taking advantage of them.
yes, you're right. I'm with you. And if you look at the beginning of the season, remember the Sheffield Wednesday match, we scored after corners. We
Yep.
got Luke O'Neill too. And I don't know why Roberts has to kick these corners every time. Later, Tommy Watson do it, or they do a short one, but we're doing really nothing from these corners or free kicks. Free kicks too. I think there was a good situation again for Roberts, and it's not the first time he's kicking a ball against the wall. And yeah, I think if you look at Roberts, I think he was really good until this penalty. And Ian messaged me when he missed that penalty. He doesn't look like he scored. Really, he has not that trust in himself, and I think the players should be on the pitch saying, Patrick, let's do another penalty. I will do the corner, the penalty, the free kick. I think we have players like Isidore who has
Mm.
trust in himself. And we have Job, Chris Rigg. Maybe we got better options to score that penalty, that free kicks, and that corners instead of Roberts. I'm sorry to say that because I like Patrick. He doing really a creative run, and he's looking like a creative player. What we missed in our squad, but in the situation he has, he doesn't look like a good player to score that part of the match, that corners, that free kicks, and definitely not the penalty. But I think it's up to the players, maybe the coaching staff, to say, Patrick, step away. We have another options to score, and with, as you said, with that defenders like Metham, like Bollard, or Luke O'Neill, we should score more goals after that corners. And if you said 8 corners, uh, that's really enough to score maybe 1 goal.
Yeah,
We
and I
could
think
score 2 goals.
I think it was pretty similar in the previous match against West Brom as well. I think we had like a lot of corners, and
Definitely.
the thing is like, Ian Ballard when he plays for Northern Ireland, he scores quite a few headers for Northern Ireland, doesn't he? If you notice that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's because they've got a corner taker who can take corners. The majority of corners that Robert's been taken have hit the first man, and the first man's always the defender, so they get the ball away. As Martin said, Tommy took it on later, but even Tommy, he was trying to put it in the middle, but unfortunately it was going too long. I don't know what's happening with the cord, but I mean, this is not a new problem. We've had problems taking corners for years now, for seasons. And I don't know what the hell they're doing in training, but it's not practicing corners. And as you say, we've got okay, just about every team in the championship has got some big lads. Look at Suda, who got sent off. He's 2 meters tall, that bugger.
Hmm.
How are you going to try and win a header against him? But as I say, the majority of the defenders in the championship have got big blokes, but there are ways of getting around it. A couple of times we took a shot and it almost worked. Not particularly against Sheffield United, but against West Brom. Roberts took a shot at Tommy, and Tommy bombed down the byline and tried to knock it in. Or Luke O'Nien came in from the other side and tried to bang it in. The problem is with Patrick, it's same as Martin. I like Patrick. At the start of the season, I was so pleased for him because it looked as though he got his mojo back. But he's just been going steadily downhill for the last 2-3 months. When he hit that post, or just scraped the post against West Brom on Tuesday, you could see in his face, he looked as though he was a bloke who had the problems of the world on his shoulder.
Yeah, he's just
And
dying for a goal, isn't he?
he's just got no confidence whatsoever. I can understand why he took the penalty. He thought, I'll get this one in, and then I'm on a run. I've broken my duck. Things are starting to happen. But now that he's missed it, it's made things worse. He's looking up to the skies all the time. He's absolutely out of confidence. I would take him out. And if need be, put Mayenda in there, who did all right against Millwall.
Yeah. But that
Yeah.
brings to another point, Martin, is that if we put Mayenda in there on the right, Mayenda's mainly right-footed, I think, or is he left-footed? I can't remember. It might be both. But we have this tendency to play with like wingers who always play on the opposite wing of their natural foot. And if you
Inverted wingers, yeah.
inverted wingers, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like a bit of a fashion now, isn't it? But I mean, if you look at I think if you look back to even like the Luton and Hull games, that kind of play was being nullified, wasn't it? Because we were making our triangles with the wingers and the fullbacks and the midfielders. But now, I don't know if you saw on social media, I posted like screenshots of different attacks that we had, where basically defenses are now doing the same thing. They're forming triangles to counter our triangles as well. And they also put an extra man. So if we've got 3 players, they've got 4. So I think he needs to have a rethink about his tactics, because coming inside all the time, it's just not working anymore. So Martin, would you take out Robertson, put Mayenda in?
Yes, I would do, because Patrick, as Ian said, is not confident enough to play for Sunderland at the moment. As you said, Mayenda is coming in, and I think he's doing well. But to be honest, I think a problem from Lebris is I don't understand his substitutions. Mayenda is fine, but I don't understand why you bring on RG Elise for Tommy Watson, because Elise is definitely not a left wing. And if you look at the goal, it is a ping pong goal. Fair to Davis, he scored really well, but as he got a ball, it was, I think, ping pong between Elise, Bollard, and Job, I think, or Daniel. I don't understand that substitution, but it shows that Lebris has no trust in our bench. I think you got Rusin, who is not playing at the moment. I think you can do it with Alexic, put Mayenda maybe on the left, Rick on the right, Alexic in the middle. You got more options to play that style we do, and he's bringing on RG Elise. To be honest, for what? For saving the point? For why is we bringing on RG Elise? I have nothing against RG, but in that situation, we have good ball moving. We're looking good. We need someone who breaks through. I think only Watson break through their defense, and we need someone who break through. And I can understand Watson maybe was tired that he get out, but he's bringing on RG Elise, so the left side is dead. To be honest, he will not break through because he's defensive. And then you try with Mayenda on the right. Yeah, I don't understand the substitution. I think his tactics is not really a problem. I think he's brave. When I look at the Millwall match, where nobody expected that lineup, but that substitutions are really I don't know. I cannot understand why he is bringing on that substitution, and it shows me that he has no trust in that bench, not in Alshish, not in Rusin, and definitely not in Barr or Bennett, because they both are not sitting on the bench. So I think it's up to Christian Speakman now to do business in January, because it is the feeling is that Labrie don't trust our bench. He's trust the starting 11. He trust Alan Brown, and maybe he trust Elise, but the other ones he has no trust in.
Yeah, yeah, and Ian, on that point, I mean, I was baffled when he brought on Al-Shish when they scored.
Yeah,
'Cause
Definitely, definitely.
I was thinking like, hang on, you're bringing a guy on that you've just totally ignored. You've ignored him for the previous 5 games, and now that they've scored, you bring him on. I was like,
yeah.
because he often talks in his interviews about being proactive and not reactive, and it's like that's the opposite of what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And I
So
think if you look at Rusin, it is the same. I've, um, I think we paid for this man 2.5 million last year, and you have the feeling that he's only sitting on a bench because we need a seventh man on the bench.
yeah,
There's only trust in maybe Connolly and Moore, but the other ones, if you look at Alexic too, he played one match because our bench was bad bad enough at Millwall, and I was surprised too that he's bringing on our sheet. Um, it's as I said, I think it is the sign for Christian Speakman to do business in January, because the squad is not big enough. And if you look at Labrie's vision, I think he said the squad is not good enough for our goals.
mhm.
So January will be really exciting.
Ian, do you think that some of these players on the bench have been unfairly written off because of what happened last season? Players like Rusin, Al-Shish, even Leo Hjelde. I mean, like because he came in last season, we
Yeah.
struggled. We know that. Uh, Bennett, Bar. I mean, these guys. Like, well, I mean, not really Bennett, but Bar, Al-Shish, and Rusin. They played quite a bit last season towards the end,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
obviously because we didn't finish in a great place and we had like a bad run, it just seems that they've been written off as not good enough. Do you think that's kind of unfair that they deserve a second chance?
Well, like you, I couldn't understand the substitution of O'Shea's on against Sheffield United on Friday night. That came out of nowhere. I mean, especially against Millwall when we had Bent on the bench, it was crying out to put O'Shea on. Why didn't he do it then? What's happened in the last week? Make O'Shea selectable. I mean, we've talked about this in the past. Perhaps there's something gone on at Lorient between the two, between Labrit and Wucic. But why put him on now? Um, I don't really know what he was going to do. Okay, Martin said that Aji Elise is not a left winger. He's not. But O'Shea's dropped into that.
Hmm.
Aji went back into dropped a bit further back into the defence, which allowed us to play a back four when we were under pressure. We will play a back three when we move forward. As regards the other lads, don't play them. You're not going to know how good they are. And what Martin said, the squad's too small. The squad isn't too small, it's too poor.
Hmm.
We've got far too many players there that the coach, for whatever reason, doesn't fancy. We've got to ship them out, and we've got to get new guys in that the coach will work with,
Yeah.
not just stick on the bench and look at and not use or occasionally use, hoy them on there and hope they do something. I didn't understand bringing Connolly on. What was Connolly going to do? Score a hat trick? I mean, he's not an out and out striker. And if you take Isidore off, Connolly's support is gone immediately because my end is out on the right wing replacing Patrick Roberts. I don't
So
know. I don't understand it. I don't understand its substitutions much, and I don't know. I don't understand why he doesn't use the substitutes that he's putting on the bench.
right, so Martin, Ian made a point there about saying that the bench, the squad, is poor. So does that mean that the recruitment hasn't been good enough recently?
Um, uh, Ian's right. He is poor, and I think we all Sunderland supporters uh, are agreeing with Labrie when he said no, not good enough, out. But if you look at the situation we have, I think still with 7 or 8 injuries, now Maffin is suspended for 3 matches. Yes, that business has to do in January. So maybe some loan deals. At the moment, I don't know that there is no trust in Lebris or from Lebris in the bench. So
Yeah,
we will see
yeah,
what happened.
yeah. And Ian, I don't know if you heard like Lebris's press conference before the match, and they were asking him about the injuries. They were asking about the squad, and January's coming up and maybe strengthening. And Lebris kind of played it down because he mentioned that, well, we've got 8 players injured, so when they come back, we'll be in a healthier situation. So he said, I'm looking forward to that. Is that a sign that maybe in January we won't be doing much business?
I suspect it is. There again, there's a certain amount of truth in what the breed says. I mean, we've got a supposedly bloody good midfielder, that Arabian that we got from a French club whose name I can't remember, who hasn't struck a bat yet.
Yeah, the
Alexic,
Abdullahi or Salis and
yeah, well, whatever he's called. Alexic, okay, he got a look in a couple of games ago, but since then he's not being used again. The other lads, who I think it depends on who we move on. If we can get rid of Oshic, if we can get rid of Bennett, if we can get rid of Bar, that'll make space in the squad and also give us a bit more money to pay wages, because it's not as if we're signing players for millions of quid, but you've still got to pay them once you got them in. And if you're paying them just to sit on the bench or not even be in the squad for the game, it's pointless. You've got to move them on. So that's down to Speakman. People like Bennett, Bar, Oshish, they were brought in before Lebris was even there. So I don't think you can hang that one on him. It's down to Speakman. I think Speakman's done a hell of a job, especially at the start of the season. Everybody was praising him to the heavens. Now it's starting to go a wee bit wrong. People are starting to turn on him again. But I mean, you're always going to have ups and downs in football. I don't know. I would like to think we'll get selected good championship players in. A striker, although we've got Mayenda, we've got Isidore, we've got Connolly, there's none of them scoring regularly. I would love to push the boat out like Ipswich did in January last year and get somebody like Kiefer Moore in, somebody who you know is going to score goals. I don't want Kiefer Moore; he's at Sheffield United now, but somebody like that you know is going to score goals and get you further on. It's also down to what's the ambition for this year. Just want to end up in the top 6 and have a great playoff season, or maybe get up through the playoffs, but have an exciting end to the season anyway? Or do we really want to go for it? Do we want to get promotion? But with that team that we are playing now, we will get hammered every week if we get promoted to the Premiership.
yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at our team as well, it's predominantly like British and Irish players, isn't it? Yeah, it's British and Irish players. Like the core of that 11, or the players that he uses, are British and Irish. He doesn't seem to trust the lads from abroad. Yeah, apart from maybe Mayenda. Anyway, Martin, the injuries at the minute. Then we've got Dennis Serkins out, but he's probably going to be fit for the next game. Alan Brown's out. Mundle, Perveda, Salis, Huggins, Sealed, and Abdullahi. I mean, I would say Serkin and Mundle and Salis. You're talking 3 players there that would be in the starting 11.
Yes.
Would you agree?
Would agree with that. Of course, it's definitely hard to lose Serkin in that part of the season. That 3 matches, we definitely need him. I think really that Luke O'Nien struggled on Friday. It doesn't look so good. But yes, there are definitely 3 players we could need. We would say Alan Brown maybe 2. He is a good player between bench and starting 11. Can replace maybe someone who needs a rest. That three players. I could not say anything about Abdullahi because he's injured, came injured, and never heard something of him.
Right, and apparently he's
Um,
one for the future as well. So
maybe,
yeah.
yeah. As my
But
younger,
he's only on loan, isn't he?
No, Abdullahi
There's
is Salis is on loan.
Salis on loan.
Salis is on loan. Okay.
Yeah. I think the same one is with Triantis, who was a player of the match this week.
Yeah.
Maybe we should get him back for our midfield with that injury season. I don't know.
Well, yeah, we bought him as a defender, but I mean, he's playing for Hibs, I think, in a
Yeah,
defensive
yeah,
midfield.
he's playing in the midfield and
Yeah.
doing well in that league.
hmm
Maybe he could help in January if we not get anybody, but I think that will not happen. He will stay
Yeah.
at Scotland this season. As I said, we need to do business in January. Maybe some good loan deals like Metham or Ahmad last seasons. If we get, as Ian said, if we get some good players, really good players, as Ipswich did, I'm really confident that we can have a promotion push. I said it, I think the first time I was at the podcast, I think we have to go through December and January. And if we are at the end of January in the top 6, I see that we really have a good chance to get up. If directly on the first 2 places, I don't know. I think Leeds and Sheffield really looked good, but in that promotion situation with the playoffs, I think there is no team who will better us. We have a chance to go up, maybe with the playoffs, but we will see what happened now in December and in January. That are, I would say, crunch time. If we get out of January in the top 6, I'm really confident.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Ian, with Patrick Roberts struggling for form, Jan Paveda, possibly, I mean, he's supposed to be returning within the next few weeks. Do you think it's an
I
opportunity?
can't see him. I can't see Paveda playing for us again. Even when he has played for us, he's not done anything. The Sheffield Wednesday fans, I know they loved him, but they said he's not too often on the pitch. I cast your mind back years. John Mensah, one of the best defenders I have ever seen play for Sunderland, but he was made of glass. He never played. He was a great player, but he never played. And Paveda falls into that category without being a great player. As far as I've seen, anyway.
No, I just think it could be an opportunity for him because Roberts is struggling. He's coming back. He's probably frustrated as well, and he's thinking, "No, listen, if I want to kickstart my career at Sunderland, I've got a chance now because the other right winger, Paddy Roberts, is out of form. Get back from injury, get fit, and get a look in and take it from there." But anyway, we'll see. Right then.
Yeah, well, I hope he disappoints me. I hope he proves me wrong. I'll be the first one to eat humble pie if he does it, but I can't see it. I honestly can't see it happening.
Yeah. Right then. Anyway, back to the match then, and I want to talk about the controversial decisions. Right.
The referee. Thank you. I wanted to get onto this. I'm going to hammer this bastard. I really am.
Go on then, Ian. I'll give you first dibs. Right. So first of all, the Watson penalty. It was a penalty without a doubt, but he only got a yellow card, and apparently
should have been red.
It should have been red, but there's a new law now. There's a new law which basically, if it's a penalty and it's a red card offence, they don't give the red card. They only give the penalty and a yellow card. It's something to do with avoiding giving a double punishment. And for me, that's just like nonsense, isn't it? Really?
Absolute. I mean, he flattened Tommy. It's a penalty. Tommy was through on goal. He's got to get red. He has to get red. By the same token, if you go to the other end of the field 10 minutes later, he gives Metham red. He wasn't even in the box, and the guy wasn't free because I think it was Ballard was standing next to Metham. Why is he given red there? I just didn't understand that at all. The only thing the referee got right all night was giving Souttar red. But we should have been playing 11 versus 9 by half time. They should have been had both centre halves sent off. And his other decisions, I mean, he gave us no protection whatsoever. Patrick Roberts was getting kicked up a height all over the place. And then all of a sudden he gives a free kick against Patrick Roberts for winning the ball. What? I mean, I thought we got rid of all the bloody awful referees when we got out of the third division. Looks as though they've come up with us.
But
They've got worse.
the only one I've seen so far that's decent is Bobby Madley on Wednesday against West Brom. I thought,
Oh,
or
come
Tuesday.
on, no,
He was all right. He was all right. He was all right. No,
no.
you don't think
He
so?
has his moments, but he lets an awful lot go. He gives us no protection either. I mean, it seems as though Patrick Roberts, Chris Rigg, and Tommy Watson have to get the leg broken to get a free kick.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's the problem is you're comparing one referee to another, and I know that two people are different.
Yeah.
It's the nature of the thing. But nevertheless, you would expect a certain amount of consistency from referees who've all been taught the same thing. Otherwise, they wouldn't have the papers, they wouldn't be able to referee a game. Okay, everybody interprets situations differently, but there are hard and fast rules, and you've got to play to those hard and fast rules. If somebody gets fouled, it's a free kick. You don't play on. Nah.
Yeah.
But that ref on Friday night was particularly poor. Oh God, he was awful. Shocking.
Right.
Shocking.
Martin, what did you think of the Metham red card? Did you think it was a bit unfair?
Yes, it was unfair. And if you look, I don't know which camera part it was, but it looks like he want that red card. He stepped back to the left, so Metham get him. I don't know. It really Bollard was clear. Bollard could change that. He was not in the box. And if I look at that player, he stepped into the right, and it looks like he want to get that red card for Metham. Really, it's absolutely crazy. That referee was absolutely terrible.
Thank you.
As Ian said, the red card for Suter was.
Yeah,
I was
2
surprised
yellows.
that he gave him red to be honest, but it was so clear that he cannot change. But the Metham red, for me, it changed the match. Really, he is maybe our best player of the last weeks, and if you lost such a guy in your defense, it changed the match. Bollard do well, really do good. It was good, but if you got Bollard and Metham, it is a completely different match. I don't know. It was definitely a wrong decision for me, and for me, it looked like he wanted that red card and he got it. No, I was not happy with the referee too. He was really poor.
The players of Sheffield United as well made a big case, didn't they? Make a big argument, which apparently you're not supposed to. I mean, you're not supposed to crowd the referee out and surround him, otherwise you get a
Yeah.
yellow card. But I mean,
Yes.
What happened to just the captain talking to the referee?
yeah,
You know, I mean, here in Germany, I was watching the highlights in the German games last night, and there was a couple of German players who got yellow for talking to the referee. The captain, I think it was a Bayern player, as Leroy Sané got booked, and Kimmich actually came across and pushed him away from the referee to try and stop him from getting yellow, but he still got yellow carded.
yeah,
Why aren't the referees consequent enough here in England?
yeah. Lack of consistency.
Over there in England.
Yeah. No, a lack of consistency, innit? Right. Anyway, so the facts are then is that we've last 6 games, we've out of those 6 games, 4 of them have been nil in our side. No, we haven't scored any goals.
Yeah.
Right. On the flip side of that, 4 of those games we didn't concede a goal. So it's polar opposites, isn't it? It's like we can see that the defense is all right. The defense is pretty good, but the attacking. I mean, what was it before those run of 6 games? We were one of the highest scoring teams in the league, and all of a sudden it's just gone to shit, hasn't it? So how do we fix it?
Down the pan.
We've got a minute left, right? So anyway, we've got a minute left. We've got Stoke next weekend. Predictions, lads. very quickly for Stoke.
0-0.
0-0.
1-0 Sunderland.
It's Stoke, isn't it?
Yeah. It is
Before we
Stoke.
finish, Lee,
Yeah.
here's a conspiracy theory for you. Since the club appointed an assistant manager or assistant trainer to RLB, we've gone downhill.
Yeah, it is. It is a bit. I was thinking about that as well. Yeah,
That's something for
right.
you to think about.
It is. Yeah, it is actually. Yeah. Right, lads. Anyway, thank you very much for your time. Dankeschön. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next time.
Cheers, Lee. Anytime, Mara.
Hi, my name is Ekait. I'm from Bilbao. I've been a fan of Sunderland for 5 years. I am a member of Bilbao Black Cats. How are the lads?